We don't know, number one, Mr. Kurtz, when these documents were created, but the fact that they were found on his kitchen, apparently found on his kitchen table within days of his wife's disappearing, coupled with the fact that he told this detective the day before at very close in proximity that he was working out his relationship with his wife, and that these appear to be contrary to that, I do believe that they are relevant. And does the state want to be heard?
No, Your Honor.
Do you want to hear any further on that one?
Just clarify, I believe it's marriage counselor has been testified to in this case already.
Right, and that coupled with the fact that it was found on his kitchen table, and for the aforestated reasons.
But Your Honor, I would like to add, I believe people were putting things on the kitchen table for Detective Young to then catalog. I believe that when he finds something on the kitchen table, it is likely the result of another officer depositing it there for him to then catalog.
Do you want to be heard?
Your Honor, these are all issues for cross-examination. That what they are that Mr. Kurtz just spoke about, there's no evidence of that. This is all proffers by the defendant, and those are all items that can be cross-examined about.
Well, Judge, if they're trying to introduce a relationship that Mr. Cooper had when he's 22 years old, and if they have knowledge that this is essentially material that is placed on the kitchen table, and they're buttressing that through this witness and making it appear as if it is something that he's doing at present, that would do nothing but prejudice this jury. And that's exactly what Rule 403 is all about. In fact, not only is there no relevance to it since predates the Cooper relationship, but there is a tremendous amount of raw prejudice.
Do you know where were these placed on the table by members of the Cary Police Department or CCBI, or do you know how they got to the kitchen table?
Yes, sir, I do. During the search of the residence on the day of the 16th by CCBI Agent Como, Detective Greer and Detective Sutta. Detectives Greer and Sutta had located these items in the upstairs office of the Cooper residence. I believe they were located, well, excuse me, they were located in the closet, or what I would deem to be a closet that sits to the left of the computer workstation. They were found in there. They, along with some other items that Detectives Greer and Sutta and Como noted, were noted and then taken down to the kitchen table to allow myself and or Detective Daniels to determine their relevance or potential relevance as being seized pursuant to a search warrant.
Your Honor, if I need to be heard further on the relevance issue.
Go ahead.
Well, Your Honor, I just say the fact that the defendant keeps this stuff in his house is relevant of the fact that I believe Detective Young testified yesterday that the defendant and the victim were attempting to reconcile their marriage, and that they're attempting to, that Miss Nancy Cooper was not going to go forward with divorce. And the fact that the defendant's holding on to these materials raises a question and raises a doubt as to some of those statements. And that's what makes it probative in this matter, and that's what makes it relevant to this matter, is that it questions those assertions about how that marriage is. Just because they're found in a closet, I don't think affects whether versus the table. I would argue the court doesn't affect the relevancy. And I'd be happy to ask further questions to clear that up in front of the jury.
In my discretion, I'm going to allow them. I want to also state that I'm reviewing Rule 403, and I do believe that the probative value outweighs the danger of unfair prejudice, confusion of the issues, or misleading the juries, or the jury, excuse me. The other issue that I think, the underlying issue with these exhibits and the items that the state is painstakingly putting in at this point, that I'm factoring into it, is that the defense accused the Cary Police Department of being inept and corrupt, and essentially that they botched this investigation. And I believe that the state is entitled to thoroughly detail and document through their presentation of evidence all the steps they made in light of that assertion that was made by the defense.
Well, Your Honor, I do understand that they have that opportunity, but I think that it is very misleading when put forward by an officer of the law that the items are found on the kitchen table, which even Your Honor was led to believe that that's where they were in the house. I think that that's proving our point.
The objections are noted for the record and overruled. I'm going to admit them.